Alright, welcome back to this assignment. We got animated invert filter. We're not going to invert it though. And for this assignment, you can see here is our code. We've got the head or metadata there inside a body tag with level 2 heading, and then we have an image from the Library of Congress under a class right there, with this specific style, giving it a height of only 300 pixels. This is what I end up with on my website. And what we want to do is start animating some things. So last time we did some filters. This assignment we're going to start some animations. So let's get started here by giving the class filtered-image some styling here, some class. So filtered image, just make sure I spelled that right, looks good. But here the filtered image, which we actually don't need, right? Like we could have put this stuff in the image, but we do need the filtered image class on this one. And we're going to apply an animation, colon, A-N-I-M-A-T-I-O-N, colon, and then you're going to name your function, not your function, you're going to name your animation. So you, depending on what kind you're going to do, right, you could do opacity or something like that. None of that stuff is going to matter. But for me, I'm going to call this one, I like hue rotation, so I'm just going to call it hue. And how long do we want this to take? Well, I'm going to start with 12 seconds, and we're going to go forwards on this. Now, of course, saving and reloading this is not going to do us any good because we don't have any animations to apply to it yet. So we're saying what to do with the animation in the code in the style sheet, but we have not told it what animations to do, and that's what we're going to do next, of course. So inside here, now that I say, hey, do this animation, then we're going to call out the animation with @ and that to access @ there, it's second and then the key number 2. And then it's KEYFRAMES, keyframes, and then you use the name of the animation that you chose. And I chose mine to be hue. Now we need some fancy brackets, and here's the closing of my fancy brackets. But first, we need from with some fancy brackets here. And then after that, we need to with its own set of fancy brackets. Okay. But again, this still doesn't say what to do with that image right there. So we still need to do some more stuff with that image. And that's where we say, what kind of filter do we want to apply? Do you want to apply a filter that is opacity? Maybe you want an opacity of 10% or something like that. And that would be fine. That's, of course, where it would start, right? Because we're going from to. And of course we are going in a forwards direction on this. But there, now we can say put in the same filter with opacity, but I think I spelled that right. Yeah, we need, let's just go straight to 100%. Alright, and when we save this, we can load. Let's see what that does. There's the opacity. Again, it starts very, very transparent because opacity is transparency. So you got a transparency of 100% all the way to, 10% to 100%. Of course, if we wanted to, we could change this to start by making it completely transparent, and then as the 12 seconds goes through, of course, it becomes more and more visible. Now you can add more to these these filters. For example, like I say, I like hue rotation. So if you wanted to say, hey, we're going to do hue rotate, not rotation, that's what I usually do. Let's start at, I guess 270 degrees. And then we'll do down here at the end will be hue dash rotate we'll just end at 0 degrees. So it'll just end where it should start, or the original. So you can see there it starts very dim, but as it comes to light here, you can see the image also corrects its hue rotation. Now, of course, there's lots of others you can put in here. For example, you could say, let's go ahead and adjust let's go with width on this one. So you could say, start with a width that is at 25%, and then end at a width of, let's go with 80%. See what that looks like. And this will go something like this one. So again, it's only adjusting the width right there, which is fine. Again, if that's the effect that you want, you could do something for the height as well, but we're not going to do anything like that for this assignment. So this is the code that we need, and I believe that we're okay giving this a different name. Just make sure. Yeah, you should be okay giving yourself a different name. The 12 seconds here, though, is not going to work. So just follow along with the assignment. Let's just see what a smaller time like 2 looks like. And again, let's just see. So again, it's happening much faster with these lower numbers. This is probably what you're going to look at. That's not what I wanted. There we go. This is the code that you're going to want in your style sheet, and that should get you credit. So that's it for this one. If you need the code, this is the time to pause the video. Again, here's the index, which we don't really need, but there's the style sheet.